Judge Martinez settled into her chair as the next case was called. Miss Douglas entered the courtroom, her expression determined but weary. The judge reviewed the file briefly before looking up. Miss Douglas, you've brought this matter before the court. Please explain your situation, the judge said. Miss Douglas took a breath. Your Honor, I'm here because Timothy Hall, the father of my 3 children, isn't fulfilling his parental responsibilities. I need the court's assistance in establishing child support. The judge leaned forward. When you say he's not fulfilling responsibilities, I need specifics. Are we talking about financial support, physical presence, or both? These are very different issues. Both, actually, Miss Douglas replied. He doesn't help with pickups or transportation. I'm paying someone $200 every week out of my own pocket to collect the children from 3 different locations, 2 schools and 1 daycare facility. $200 weekly? That's substantial, the judge noted, making a notation. What about health insurance? I carry all 3 children on my medical plan. That costs $250 monthly. The judge did some quick mental arithmetic. That was nearly $1,100 monthly just for transportation and insurance, not counting food, clothing, housing, and other necessities. You must have reason to believe Mr. Hall has financial resources, the judge observed. Otherwise, you wouldn't be pursuing this. Miss Douglas reached for her folder. Oh, he definitely has money, Your Honor. He's at nightclubs every weekend spending lavishly. I have documentation. What kind of documentation? Screenshots from social media platforms? Facebook and Instagram primarily. I'm blocked on his accounts, but family members who follow him have been sending me images. They show him at various establishments, particularly adult entertainment venues, throwing large amounts of cash. Before the judge could respond, Mr. Hall interjected loudly from his seat. That's cap. The judge raised an eyebrow. Excuse me, Mr. Hall? I said that's cap. She's lying. Judge Martinez paused, unfamiliar with the term. Cap. What does that mean? It means she's not being truthful, Your Honor. It's slang for lying, Mr. Hall explained. I see. I'm learning new vocabulary today. The judge made another note. We'll address your perspective shortly, Mr. Hall. Please allow Miss Douglas to finish. The judge turned back to Miss Douglas. Let's establish context. Relationships don't deteriorate overnight. How did you 2 meet? And how did we arrive at this point? Miss Douglas shifted uncomfortably. I should have recognized warning signs earlier. We met at a nightclub. The same type of establishment where you allege he currently spends money? The judge asked pointedly. Yes, Your Honor, but I was just there as a regular customer. Mr. Hall couldn't contain himself. Judge, I spent $2,000 on her that first night. Mr. Hall, you'll have your turn, the judge said firmly before returning to Miss Douglas. Continue, please. He approached me. He seemed charming, sophisticated. We exchanged contact information, went to breakfast the following morning, and became inseparable. That is, until he returned to his nightclub habits. I think the responsibilities of parenthood became overwhelming for him. How long have you been separated? Currently about 2 years, but it's been off more than on throughout our relationship. The children are growing and have increasing needs. I require assistance. The children reside with you full-time? Yes, Your Honor. We don't even know where Mr. Hall lives currently. The judge turned to the defendant. Mr. Hall, you've stated that Miss Douglas is capping. Let's discuss that. What specifically is inaccurate about her account? The part where she claims I don't take care of my kids, Mr. Hall said firmly.
Absolutely do.
I'm a firm believer in handling my responsibilities. Define taking care of your children in concrete terms. Miss Douglas states she pays $200 weekly for transportation and $250 monthly for health insurance. Are you contributing to these expenses? Yes, I contribute. I give her money every month. How much? The judge pressed. I've given her approximately $10,000 monthly. There was a moment of stunned silence in the courtroom. $10,000 per month? The judge repeated. That's $120,000 annually. For how many months? 7, maybe 8 months. Judge Martinez turned to Miss Douglas. Is this accurate? Absolutely not, Your Honor. That's completely false. I have bank statements and receipts, Mr. Hall insisted. Did you bring these documents today? The judge asked. Not with me, but I have them. The judge's expression hardened. Mr. Hall, you received notice of this hearing. You knew the purpose was to establish child support. Yet you arrived without documentation to support your claims. Let's discuss your income, the judge continued. What do you do for a living? I'm a recording artist, a rapper. And your annual income? Approximately $200,000 gross. After taxes and business expenses, I personally net around $30,000 that I can use for discretionary spending. Including throwing money at nightclubs? It's my money, Your Honor. Judge Martinez removed her glasses and looked at Mr. Hall directly. Mr. Hall, I may appear young, but I wasn't born yesterday. I've heard countless variations of this exact story. Someone claims substantial income, then when child support becomes a possibility, suddenly that income shrinks dramatically. Do you understand what I'm saying? I understand, but my music career requires significant investment. We're not discussing your career investments right now, the judge interrupted. I'm discussing your children's welfare. You claim Miss Douglas is taking a large portion of your income, yet you also claim to be investing heavily in your career while spending money at entertainment venues. These statements don't align logically. Here's what I observe, Judge Martinez said. You claim to have given Miss Douglas $70,000 to $80,000 over 7 to 8 months. That's substantial. However, you've provided zero documentation. Meanwhile, she's testifying under oath that she received nothing. Testimonial evidence is still evidence, Mr. Hall. Without corroboration of your claims, I must weigh her sworn testimony against your unsupported statements. But Your Honor, I'm not finished. You agreed that you earned $200,000 annually. You also acknowledged spending significant amounts at nightclubs. These facts are established. What isn't established is that you've contributed anything toward your children's care. The judge pulled up the child support calculation guidelines on her computer. Under Texas law, child support calculations are capped when income reaches certain thresholds. Your net resources will be calculated as $9,800 monthly. For 3 children, the guideline percentage is 40%. She entered the figures and reviewed the result. Mr. Hall, your monthly child support obligation is $2,969. Regarding health insurance, you mentioned having access to coverage. If you can obtain insurance for less than Miss Douglas currently pays, I'll credit you $100 monthly. However, you must enroll the children within 30 days. If you fail to do so and Miss Douglas returns to court, you'll owe the full $250 monthly reimbursement in addition to your base support obligation. Miss Douglas looked relieved. Mr. Hall appeared stunned. So I'm paying almost $3,000 monthly? Mr. Hall asked. That's correct. Though by your own testimony, you were supposedly giving her $10,000 monthly, so this should feel like a discount, the judge replied dryly. We'll probably be back, Miss Douglas said quietly. That's your prerogative, the judge responded. Mr. Hall, do you have anything further? He shook his head, speechless. Miss Douglas. No, Your Honor. Thank you. Then you're both dismissed. Mr. Hall, your first payment is due within 30 days. The court will monitor compliance. If you fail to pay, enforcement actions including wage garnishment, license suspension, and contempt proceedings may follow. Do you understand? Yes, Your Honor. As they left the courtroom, Miss Douglas felt a weight lift from her shoulders. It wasn't perfect, but it was accountability. Meanwhile, Mr. Hall was already calculating how this would affect his lifestyle, realizing that his clubbing days were about to become significantly less extravagant. The judge closed the file and called the next case, another day in family court complete.